Welcome back to the Terrace. Hit the like button, subscribe, click the bell notifications as well, because to you 307,000 beautiful people, the algorithm is not your friend. Also, follow the Top 6 show on Spotify now by scanning that QR code on the screen or clicking the link in our description below. Let's take a look at what people are saying across the footballing world. First of all, to Rio, man like Joel and Steve, talking about Liverpool's defeat against Bournemouth. Take a little listen to this.
Oh, man. So, yeah, they play Real Madrid next.
Slapovic.
You reckon?
Yeah, they're going to get
At
slapped.
Anfield?
It's not Anfield.
It was already they already
So
got
wait.
absolutely turned over at Anfield.
They're going to get hurt. I don't know. Madrid ain't in great form, by the way, but Champions League music comes on. Different Real Madrid come out.
It's true. It's true.
So,
All right, moving it on. Crystal Palace.
No, we're not moving it on.
Oh,
We need
come
to
on,
talk
Steve.
about the absolute disgrace of a defensive performance that we've seen from someone that I've seen as the best centre-half the Premier League's seen.
Van Dijk.
He give up. All the talk last week about Bruno Fernandes, he give up, he has to be sub. All of that bollocks that we saw last weekend.
I was waiting for
And then
this.
we saw Van Dijk have someone get about a yard in front of him and go, that's me clocked out.
This is so true. And I want to call Steve out for this, big him up for this, because no one really picked up on it. And maybe, I didn't pick up on it on the match reaction because it was a bad mistake, but I don't think it defines him as a player. But where are the media outlets talking about this? It is such a good point. Where are the media outlets? I want to know from you.
Oh, nothing to say? Nothing to say?
No, I saw it. I saw it.
I think he's just having a bad season, personally.
There's no excuse to give up.
There is no excuse to give up. You're right. But did he really give up?
Yes, Joel. He gave up. He did. And as Rio also points out in this video, he blasts Carragher and Souness for how embarrassing the kind of goading of Gary Neville was, only for them to kind of go on and lose to Bournemouth. But again, no one's talking about it. It's not even, it didn't even trend for 12 hours. It's a nothing. Of course, a 7-0 defeat is huge, but there were still characteristics that were similar that are not being discussed.
Have you seen it? Have you seen it?
Watch it there now and see.
Don't you think he was like...
Oh, it's bad. It's so bad. I laughed when I saw it. I was like, oh my God, look at this.
You got pushed around.
Then I
there,
rewound it and watched how bad Trent's positioning was, and I enjoyed that.
Obviously, Steve loving this, but I want to get your views and I want to get your opinions. Big up to Five for pointing this out, because the mainstream media hasn't really done this. And I'd love your opinion and I'd love your take as to why. But as far as I can see, Steve has absolutely done them.
Pep, De Bruyne, please. Get yourself together. Speak to each other. Talk. Don't hold it all in. Speak to each other. Pep, I need you. I need Man City. I've never needed Man City in my life, but I need them now. Don't let Arsenal win the championship. Don't let them win the Premier League, please.
Ruddock here on TalkSPORT. This is a plea to City and Pep to not let Arsenal win the league. And people don't think there's an agenda against Arsenal.
I'll have to move. Listen, Pep, you're not only letting Man City down, you're not only letting Man City fans down, you're letting every team in London down. Except Arsenal. Arsenal fans think they invented football. No, they didn't. Pep, De Bruyne, please talk.
Pep, just for the record, I've backed you at 5 to 4.
Listen, though, but it doesn't undo the fact here that you have got professional pundits and ex-pros doing up fan business here. They are desperate for Arsenal to not win this league. And I understand it. From a rivalry perspective, no one in London wants another London team winning the league, not Arsenal, who are the most successful team in London. And especially domestically, they everybody pales into insignificance in comparison to them. But this is like, honestly, seeing this should light up the eyes of every single gooner on planet Earth. Let's take a look here at Jamie O'Hara. These two clips were sent through to me by about 30 or 40 of you, so thank you. Take a little look at this.
I think Man City will still win. We've had a tweet come here from Robbie, and this is exactly what I think. City stay in touch with Arsenal to the last 5 games of the season. The Gunners will bottle it. Oh my God!
So you think
stay in touching distance with Arsenal?
what? So
until
5 points. What's
five-
touching distance?
Well, 5 points, 3 points. You know, they've got to play each other. Man City need to beat Arsenal, right?
No,
That's
if-
in 6 games' time.
let me tell you.
After that, you've got 5 games
if
left.
If they beat
So
Arsenal,
if Man City beat Arsenal,
okay, of
you're
course.
in touching distance with,
Yes.
with 5 games to go.
So 2 points
Who's
for
going to have who's going to have the experience? Who's going to have
No,
the bottle?
well-
Man City have been there
But
all
Arsenal-
before.
Listen, I understand.
Stop it. Get some help.
I don't know where that got played from. I understand where Jamie O'Hara is coming from. There's another clip here I want to go into as well. Take a look at this.
Say, my name's
No,
Jamie O'Hara.
no,
I'm a
definitely
Spurs
not.
fan,
No.
and Arsenal going to win the title.
No, there's
It'll
no-
help
there's-
you, Jay. I'm here to
Jay,
help.
Just admit they're going to win the league, Jamie.
There's a lot of football to play. They've still got to play Man City, and then after they play Man City, they've got to play Chelsea, who have pulled it together. Then they've got to play Newcastle away.
Chelsea have pulled it together. Newcastle away, who are in the greatest form on planet Earth, right? Yeah, that Newcastle.
Right, 3
I wouldn't be like-
huge games where, in my opinion, Arsenal will bottle the title. That week there, 29th of April,
Bottling the league. This is all Tottenham have left. This is all the London clubs have left. This is all Liverpool have left. And there are salty Man United fans as well. This is all they have left. Man United fans and City fans are not really focusing on Arsenal as much as others because United have got the FA Cup, the Europa League, top 4. City, of course, fighting for the title. They've got the Champions League and FA Cup as well. But everybody else are done and dusted. Chelsea, yes, they're in the Champions League, but I don't think they believe they're going to win it. They could, but I don't think they believe they're going to win it. So for everybody else now, their season is totally focused on Arsenal failing. They had their fear and their denial and their hatred boiling over in the beginning of the season. All their predictions about Arsenal came wrong, proven wrong. They won't be in the title race, they'll fall away. One injury, they'll collapse. They're here now. The running is now here. Remember, that they weren't going to get to this point, Arsenal. They're now here. And now it is Operation Arsenal failure. Let's do everything we can to put pressure on them, to banter them, to wind their fans up. And look, they may not win the league, but Arsenal are not going to bottle it from this point. They're not going to collapse and be a shrinking violet and fall away. But isn't it amazing how Spurs fans and the army behind them of rivals of Arsenal, that is all they have left. That's it. And the reason I call that salty United fans is Man United fans shouldn't be focused on Arsenal. Focus on our team. We've still got great successes we can achieve this year. It's weird to me. But everybody else who've had failures of a season, a lot of Chelsea fans, Spurs, Liverpool, like Liverpool fans really hating on it as well. Because if Arteta wins the league, same amount as Klopp, and they put Klopp up as being the greatest in the world, better than Pep because he did better net spend. Imagine if Mikel Arteta equals that within 3 years of being a manager. Big conversations have got to be had. But for me, listening to Jamie O'Hara there, you can sense that fear. Arsenal scare the living daylights out of these people. I've been telling you all year, all season, that this is based on fear, worry, and panic. It's not even real analysis. It's just, I'm going to project what I hope happens as opposed to what I believe, as to what I believe is going to happen. These men are shook. Now, again, make sure you're hitting the like button. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel if you've not done so yet. And as I always tell you, turn on the notifications, not just when you click the bell, but turn notifications on your devices so you know when we go live and you know when we post more content. As well as that, scan the QR code and follow the podcast. I'm absolutely overwhelmed. Just yesterday alone, 1,500 people started following the Spotify account, which is just blows my mind that so many of you support me, support the Terrace and everything we do here. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, I did want to take a little bit of a time to address the situation with Gary Lineker and the BBC, because a lot of people have been asking me about it, and I've kind of kept my mouth shut to a degree. Firstly, Gary Lineker's tweet. I don't think it was as bad as people made it to be. He's entitled to a political opinion. And he didn't like the policy. He doesn't like how it's written, how it sounds from the government. And he believes he didn't say it was exactly like Germany in the 1930s and 40s. He essentially said it's not too dissimilar. but the way they are dehumanizing people. And that element I totally understand. The BBC suspend him because of impartiality rules. He's not allowed to express certain opinions. I do think those impartiality rules need to be looked at. Is what somebody's saying offensive? Is it inaccurate? Is it wrong? Is it misleading? And I think maybe the last couple of years has taught us that a lot of people that lost jobs and were sacked and cancelled for certain political opinions have now been proven to be correct, as all the wood for the trees are seen. But I think for me, the way the BBC handled it with everybody boycotting, I would say everybody, commentators, cameramen, presenters, nobody willing to step into the void. The BBC had huge egg on their face. Huge egg on their face. They're going to apologize to Gary Neville. I think there'll be some reform. Some people are certainly going to lose their jobs. But I think what needs to happen here is they need to relook at their impartiality rules. You've got like a director at the BBC who is a full-out conservative, who, you've got people that have worked for the BBC that are full-on Brexiters. Everybody should be entitled to their own political beliefs unless their political beliefs are illegal. And there are, of course, some political beliefs that are illegal. And I think they need to look at those rules. But there's a message here for football fans that I take from this circumstance, a huge one. And that is, the people have the power always. You've just got to be brave enough to wield it. And you saw, listen, to Gary Lineker and Alex Scott, and Micah Richards, Ian Wright, all these individuals that boycotted certain things, they're at no real risk. They're millionaires, multi-millionaires. If they lose their job, they'll get work elsewhere. And if they never work again, they've got enough money to survive on. So they're not really taking a big risk. But a lot of the other staff are working class. They're earning standard money. If they don't have a job, they don't have a job, and they're in trouble. And they took a risk, and they stood by Lineker, and they stood by their rights, and they won. Football fans need to do the same thing when it comes to bad owners, when it comes to the prices of tickets, the prices of television subscriptions. You always hold the power. Moaning and whinging about things very rarely gets you the outcome that you want, but tangible action does. There was a boycott. The BBC staff boycotted the BBC, and they got what they wanted. Now, the BBC can't run its shows and will lose money if its staff are not there. And when it comes to the highest echelon of kind of boardrooms, whether it be a football club, a TV station, a newspaper, a drinks company, they all care about one thing above and beyond everything else: making money. Making money is their aim. All the other elements they employ and implement at a business is how to make the most amount of money. Point blank, period. And that's why, for me, I look at this and think football fans have so much more power in this game than they believe they do. Pull the money, you get what you want. Make your demands. If you don't get it, pull your money, and they'll fall in line. They always do, especially at the highest level of the game. So I think Gary Lineker and the BBC crew have taught the world of football a very, very important lesson. Everyone's going to have a different opinion on whether was his tweet right or was it wrong? Was it insensitive? Was it correct? Everyone's going to have a different opinion on whether or not the matches of the day does need a revamp. Actually, the new format was better. They shouldn't be boycotting. They shouldn't be striking. But the one thing we've learned from this, whether you agree with it or disagree with it, whoever side of the fence you sit on is entirely up to you. I'm not even worried about that point. For me, it's the outcome and how boycotting works. Damaging people's back pocket works. Football fans have got to wake up and smell the coffee and understand that you always have the power. You just need to be, as I've already said, brave enough to yield it. It's on you always. It's never on other people. You have that power. But listen, viewers, thank you all very much for tuning in today. Make sure like buttons are hit. I want your comments below as well. Subscribe to the Terrace and click that bell notification button. It's very, very important indeed. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again soon. Thank you.